Buying clothes is hard, and that's something that I genuinely believe because there's a plethora of variables that play into when you buy clothes, how you can style them, how they'll fit into your wardrobe, or even how long they'll stay in your current rotation. And are they even worth it at that point, spending your hard-earned money on them? These days, buying clothes has become even harder for me and you, if you're an American. Unless you're one of my few abroad subscribers, then please, by all means, enjoy the show. But with rising concerns of tariffs and our clothing obviously becoming more expensive due to that specific reason, what do we do now? With our alleged fearless leader at the helm pushing these tariffs and causing more disputes, how do we go about it? I mean, after all, he somehow has to stop these terrible third world countries from scamming us. As we all know, clothes are expensive, especially good clothes, and there's a lot of factors that go into buying an item of clothing, especially when it's something that you've had your eye on for a while. Now, I think we can all agree that the most important factor of buying something is definitely the price tag, but now that price tag is going to be even more higher due to tariffs. Now, the price tag of your clothing is either going to be a little higher or a lot higher depending on your own taste. But it's not just going to affect any one specific piece of clothing, it will be across the board due to tariffs. And I think the biggest thing is to understand how much it's really gonna play a part into raising the prices of clothing. It's literally going to affect everyone, even fast fashion. Now that might be a good thing, but I'll talk a little more about that later on in the video. Now your little fashion mind might be thinking, what's a tariff and how is it gonna affect my next purchase of a capital piece on Mr. Porter or my next attempt at lowballing an item that I've had on my grilled favorites for months? That you're not going to get because you're unsuccessful and you aren't Gary Vee. You're not getting that bargain.
That's a knife. Okay, cool.
But I'm not out of a good bargain.
Yeah, man.
Okay, back to the video. Now let me explain what a tariff is. Basically, tariffs are taxes imposed on goods that are imported from one country to another. To make this easier to understand, I'll give you an example. Say you have a pair of Margiela replicas that cost an astonishing $750 and they incur a 20% tariff. Since I imagine they're probably shipping from Europe. That's an additional $150 in taxes that has to be paid. And guess what? Who do you think that extra charge is going to fall on? Unlike the 2008 financial crisis when your biggest worry was probably a Lego set, now all you want to get your hands on is some Rick. Or maybe some baggy salvage denim, as your algorithm obsessed mind is just constantly being fed that. Before we do dive deeper more into that, I do want to go a little more into detail about how dramatically this is going to affect us Americans. To be exact, 97% of clothes and shoes purchased in the US are imported from other countries, which already sounds pretty bad. Now take a look in your closet, go through your clothes, and you'll probably find a few tags that say made in China, Vietnam, or Bangladesh. These three countries were the top sources for clothing and shoes sold in the US in 2024, collectively accounting for 61.9% of all imports. And it gets better. These three same countries are also facing some of the highest tariff rates. China at 34%, Vietnam at 46%, and Bangladesh at 37%. This is also subject to change though, since they're always fluctuating. Now you might think the easiest way to avoid this would just be avoid retail altogether, but unfortunately that is not the case. Even secondhand and thrifting is also going to be affected by this. So your lowballing schemes aren't safe either. The last couple of years, we've seen the rise of secondhand shopping increase drastically. From buying on Grilled, for my Europeans, Vinted, to even, well, I guess I shouldn't include Europe since you guys aren't, what am I saying? You guys are going to get affected too, because depending on, I guess, if you're buying stuff from America, it'll probably be more expensive, but also thrifting. Thrifting is another one that's going to also get extremely expensive, but obviously, the biggest factor behind this was the pandemic. And during the pandemic, what also happened was just the rise of fashion content, which inevitably led to, more people over consuming and buying more clothes and just more clothes. Even now, you still see it on, social media, this whole idea. It would be like the meme. It's why are you so quiet? And then it's the mind, and it's I need more clothes. It's this propaganda, you just need to have more clothes. The retail market and the secondhand market are two sides of the same coin, so it makes sense that one would have a direct effect on the other one. During my research for this video, I came across a Reddit post that basically perfectly summed up this entire situation. The price of new goods is going to be insanely high because they'll all be coming from China. Now, I don't think obviously this statement isn't like necessarily completely true because a lot of other countries also play into this, but thus the price of pre-existing goods within the USA will become infinitely more valuable. The Redditor went on to explain how this happened during the pandemic with the used car market. Due to a global chip shortage, new cars were being produced in smaller quantities, which caused the value of cars already on the market to increase. Your immediate first thought might be after that statement that I just made, or like the Redditor made, was how does this correlate with clothes? What does the secondhand market for clothing and how does the secondhand market for cars basically, like what's the connection between the two? Stay with me, it'll make sense. Well, it's because there'll be fewer clothes getting imported to the United States, so whatever's already in circulation or already on the market is just going to get more expensive. If fewer clothes are being manufactured, since no one's going to be able to afford retail, everyone's just going to turn to the next best option, which is secondhand and thrifting. And what's going to basically come out of that is a lot of people are going to want the same thing. And since a lot of people want the same thing, the person that's selling that thing can charge way more for it, because there's basically just a higher demand for it since everybody wants the same piece of clothing. Kind of like that's where that connection kind of comes from, like the car, you know, like specific cars that people would want more, like a specific piece of item that, you know, someone would want more. If everyone wants the same thing, it's easily like, okay, I'm not going to charge maybe like $500 for this Rick Owens leather jacket. Maybe I'll charge $800 because since there's more people that want it, someone's going to inevitably pay that price. The exact scenario that this reminds me of is whenever a certain item of clothing or a brand hits the algorithm, immediately the market is affected by it. Like everyone just jumps to that item of clothing, so it immediately gets expensive. We've seen it happen with Carhartt Detroit jackets, and even with brands like, albeit Chrome Hearts is already expensive, it happened with Chrome Hearts, and even a brand like Acne Studios, it happened with Acne Studios. Since it's just hitting the algorithm, and since so many people want it, the people can just charge insane and unreasonable prices because at the end of the day, someone will still pay for it. Despite all the negativity surrounding tariffs and everything that I've previously stated in this video, I still want to consider what good they might do and like how they could possibly be beneficial for, you know, the average American consumer. The main reason I do want to consider the good that's gonna come out of the tariffs is the effect that they're gonna have on two of like the biggest players in the fast fashion industry, which are Shein and Temu. If you're someone who truly loves fashion and clothing, then I really shouldn't have to explain why this is a good thing. Fast fashion is easily one of the worst parts of the industry. Where do I even start? Stealing concepts from up-and-coming designers, the environmental damage, the poor treatment and exploitation of workers overseas, and even of migrant workers here in the United States. This is going to be a direct result of eliminating the de minimis exemption, which heavily benefited these fast fashion companies. It was a loophole that allowed them to avoid taxes on imports under $800. Now with that exemption gone, those once massive Shein hauls and Temu orders are all just going to be basically a lot more expensive, which is going to probably lead to less people purchasing fast fashion and, you know, supporting that industry. Another thing is this might be the perfect time to hopefully stop the mindless overconsumption of clothing. Hopefully it can be a moment to reflect on your closet and realize that you don't need more clothes. A little shameless plug here is go watch my video on overconsumption in fashion. The main point I do want to get across is that we should try to make the best out of a pretty shitty situation. You should be content with what you have and realize there's more to life than just retail therapy and also chasing that dopamine hit from that new pickup. Unless it was really worth it, then maybe comment down below what you copped. And enjoy your new piece. But back to what I'm saying. I've had to deal with my own struggles with this, and I get it. It's hard not to buy new clothes, but if we choose not to buy new clothes, maybe we can actually end up appreciating the clothes that we already have, because, you know, maybe there's that one piece in your collection, your closet, whatever it might be, wardrobe, that you haven't worn in a while, and you kind of just completely forget about it because you end up getting caught in this cycle of just buying more new clothes like over and over again. You end up kind of forgetting about the pieces that you really wanted. And now that you have so much, it just becomes clutter, you know. With that being said, that is going to be the end of the video. If you made it to the very end, I appreciate it so much. Leave a like, subscribe, and please let me know your thoughts down below. I'd love to hear your viewpoints, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one.